All right, well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Freakin Uncultured Podcast. We are here on episode 3, finally. These things are just flying right by. But if you're not aware, my name is Andy, and I'm joined by my good buddy Chandler. How you doing, Chandler? How you doing today?
Well, for anybody who saw our Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, I'm getting over being sick. So episode 2 went up whenever I was sick, and for all of you who viewed that episode, thank you for viewing it. It helped me to feel better, and you healed my body and my soul. So thank you all.
We found a new medicine to help you out, but I'm glad you're feeling better. I know you were going through it, so. But again, thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate your time and just commitment. Just the little bit of support you guys give. Just liking one of our. Is it X now? Is it? I mean, I know it's X, but like, what are they like?
I
They're
mean,
not
I call
tweets.
it Twitter.
They're not tweets, but I mean, just any support on our Instagram or any of that stuff, we do appreciate. So thank you guys
They're,
for all the support you guys give.
they're X's and O's. Elon Musk is giving hugs and kisses.
I was gonna say I'm not thanking everyone for the X's and O's. So,
Hugs and
but
kisses from Daddy Musk.
all right. But so we're gonna jump into episode 3, and this time we're still gonna stick with the game theme. This is something Chandler and I are very very passionate about. We've been doing this a very long time, so I think we're gonna stick with the game theme. But I know we've got ideas in the future to kind of delve into movies and TV shows and all sorts of other things. So we'll get there eventually, I promise. But I want to talk into something that we haven't dealt with before. We've talked about how our 2024s went, some of the more inspirational games. This time, I want to talk about what games do we want to dig into? What games have we always wanted to play? What games have we always wanted to really experience and we just have not had the time or we just have not made the investment to do so? So we're going to talk into a little bit of these. Obviously, we haven't played these games. We read a lot of stuff online. We talk a lot with people who have played these games before, so we have a little bit of insight. But forgive us because we're not 100% knowledgeable on all this. But we're gonna dig into some of these game franchises that we haven't had the opportunity to dig into. So, Chandler, do you want to go first? Do you want me to take the reins, or do you have anything else you want to chime in on before we dig into this?
No, I'm ready to go if you are, and doesn't matter to me who wants to start us off. So if
So,
you want me to, I'm more than willing to. If you want to go ahead, you go right ahead.
well, I'll chime in first since this is kind of my topic. I'll jump in first.
Okay.
I'm gonna just rip this band-aid off really quickly because the one I want to start out with, these aren't in any particular order. I know you were talking about having a little bit of an order, but I'm gonna rip this band-aid off just because this has been one of the highest reviewed games that has come out in a very long time. It was a Game of the Year award winner here recently too, but it's also one of those that I know if I even scratch the surface of this game, there's still hundreds and hundreds of hours to play. And I know a lot of people probably already will give me hell because I haven't played it yet. But Baldur's Gate 3, the Baldur's Gate series, I've played the originals. I messed with them way back in the day, but the Baldur's Gate 3 is one that I've always wanted to dig into. Obviously, hugely inspired by like D&D and stuff like that. I know they actually have D&D mechanics in the new one too, which is kind of interesting and exciting to dig into a little bit more. But that's one that I've always wanted to get into. It's just I don't have the time to invest. Like I know that's a game that's easy 100 plus hours.
Yeah.
So I that's one I've always wanted to get into. I just there's so many games, so little time, I guess is probably the one way to put it. But have you dug into Baldur's Gate 3 or have you ever messed with?
So no, I haven't. Janie has mentioned multiple times that she wants to get it and she wants to play it and everything, but anytime we go to look, we've just been kind of waiting for it to go on sale, and anytime it does go on sale, it doesn't go on sale for a huge chunk off of it. And it's not that I don't think I would enjoy the game, it's just I don't know, I just don't want to pay full price for it, and I can't explain why.
Fair.
And
I
I
mean,
and, but and you know me, I have no problem paying full price for a game. But just something about Baldur's Gate 3, I'm just waiting for it to go on sale.
Fair enough. No, I'm kind of so I was in the same boat. Like I own Baldur's Gate, but for me, I didn't want to buy it digitally. That was the catch for me. We've talked about that a ton of times, just with anything like Alan Wake and all those.
Yep.
But I didn't want to buy Baldur's Gate digitally, and I did find a physical copy. So I do own it physically, but unfortunately, the Japanese copy doesn't work well with American copies. So like,
Really?
yeah, like if you bought the game and I played my copy, like we wouldn't be able to play together. And then apparently the Japanese version is censored in some regards versus the American one. So there's definitely some differences between the two. But I do own it on PC. So I have multiple resources for it, but it's just like, man, I don't want to dig into it just yet, because I know that's a time sink. That's going to be a huge time investment for me.
Does Larian not have physical copies up on their website anymore?
I don't know. I know that they re-released it, but it was still a digital code in some of the like collector's editions and stuff.
Okay.
And then I know they released it physically overseas in different areas, but I don't know if the US ever got actual physical copies. They might have. I'm not sure on that one, so.
Okay.
But cool. So that's my first pick. I know, again, that's probably a big thing for a lot of people. You know, obviously, like I said, that was one of the highest reviewed games. Obviously, it won Game of the Year last year when I was still rooting for Alan Wake 2. But yeah, that's my number one pick. So what's the first one? What's the first one for you?
Man, so it's like, you alluded to it earlier in the video, but I have a list, and it's organized by how much I want to get into it, on the lower end to the higher end, from 1 to 5. And so for my first one, and here's the thing too, is this is something else I just noticed. These are actually all franchises that have been around for a decent amount of time now that I've just never gotten into. And they all have a common theme of these are franchises that one game you could sink hundreds of hours into, let alone, the entire franchise.
Oh, yeah.
And so for my first one, and this one may shock you, mainly just because I think you'd be shocked that I haven't dived into it.
Okay.
Is Mass Effect.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, that is a surprise to me.
Yep. So, I know they came out with the Legendary Trilogy, and it's something that I do want to pick up at some point. It goes on sale all the time, so I might as well. You can get a copy for like $20, I think.
Yeah, and I actually think it's on Game Pass too, if I remember correctly.
Is it?
I think so. I'm not sure. I could be wrong on that, but man, I am actually surprised about that. I remember playing the original Mass Effect on 360 when it came out. Like a buddy of mine and we were at the store, we bought it. We were all about it. That game, that's a phenomenal series, man. I didn't dig into Andromeda, obviously, with all the issues and concerns the game had. My buddy played it. He actually liked it, but I'm assuming it was after,
all the patches.
Yeah, so I'm sure they put a lot of work into it. But man, I'm genuinely surprised about that.
Yeah, no, it's one of those franchises that I know everything and nothing about, if that makes sense. Because I know all of the stuff that people talk about, but that also has been kind of what's put me off on playing it for a long time now, is because I hear people talk about it all the time. But at the same time, I also know next to nothing about it, so that shouldn't be an excuse.
Fair.
I just need to dive in.
That is one that I mean, I'm sure all of these on your list, I'm going to strongly encourage you to play, but that is one.
Especially there's one entry you definitely will, so I promise you.
But that is one I'm genuinely shocked on that. I kind of assume, but I mean, again, you said you never played like Skyrim and stuff like that too, so like, man, that's crazy to me that you never messed with the Mass Effect ones.
Even though I own a copy of Skyrim,
of course,
still haven't played it.
Well, that's the thing.
Sitting in the bedroom, haven't touched it.
You don't have to play it. You just have to own it. That's the thing. As long as you own it.
That's what makes me a real gamer. Ownership.
That's why I was actually going to start the episode out saying like, this is, unfortunately, the truth has finally come out. Chandler and I are fake gamers. We have not played video games. We are fake gamers. The truth is out. So
You just outed me to everybody. Now everybody knows I just play Candy Crush with my mother. I I have no clue what I'm talking about.
Hey,
Oh
don't.
no.
I'm a puzzle quest person myself, so don't diss the mobile games, good sir.
Hey, I've played some Candy Crush. I'm not
Or
gonna
wait,
lie.
no, it was Bejeweled. I'm all about Bejeweled. That's what it was. So,
Yeah.
all right, cool. So I guess to add to our fake gamer status,
Yep.
so here's the thing, like looking at my list, there's one on there that kind of digs back into the older generation of gaming and stuff like that. But most of the stuff I have on here is relatively new. I guess in all fairness, like when I had more time, like I was always gaming and digging. So I guess the older franchises, like, you know, like the Resident Evil, Parasite Eve, all that stuff, like I grew up with, like I don't have the need to want to dig into those. I lived that life. So
Yeah.
looking at my stuff now, I'm kind of like, man, this is a lot of newer stuff. But the next one I'm gonna go with is mainly because they just did an announcement. We covered it at the Video Game Awards, but they have a new one in the works. Series looks phenomenal. It's got a huge following. Obviously, it also had a TV show that went along with it. But the Witcher series is one that I've always wanted to dig into. Now, I did play Witcher 2 back on the 360. It was not the most... I don't know. I don't want to say user friendly, but I don't know. It didn't play well on the 360 in my opinion. Like it was not like I didn't enjoy the experience. I don't even remember if I finished the game. And Witcher 3 is one that I have purchased multiple times. I own it on my PlayStation. I own it on my Xbox. I own it on my PC. I own it on my Switch. And every time I start it up, like I love the universe. I love the lore. I love the characters. I absolutely hate the combat. And the combat just completely takes me out of the game, and I just don't want to play it anymore. Like it's just something about that's like, all right, this is not enjoyable. I can't do it. And I guess I need to just bite the bullet and just do it. Just get good kind of thing. But like I don't know, something about the Witcher series. Like my wife and I watched the TV series. Loved it. Like, I love the show. I love the characters. I love the series. I love the universe. I love the thought and the concept of it. I'm excited to see what they do with Witcher 4. But I can't bring myself to play 3. So I actually just re-downloaded it on my PS5 to be like, you know what? Let me give it the old 27th try or whatever it is. Like, but
hey man, 27th try is the charm. That's what I was trying to find. I knew there was a word for it, but
27th try is the charm.
Yep, there we go. Put it on a shirt.
There we go.
Yep.
But that's my number 2. So
okay, yeah. No, for Witcher, I don't know a lot, especially compared to the people who are massive fans of Witcher. But I know a decent amount. I own some of the books. They're sitting on the bookshelf in our bedroom and everything. I've seen the first season of the Netflix show, and I watched the. I don't know if there's only one animated movie now, but because I know another Netflix animated Witcher movie is coming out. But
okay.
I watched the first one that they did, and I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed the first season. Season 2 I didn't watch, and I didn't watch season 3. So Witcher is something, that I'm really interested in, but as far as the games go, I haven't really put any time into it myself. So no, I'm in that same boat with you.
Yeah. No, I watched the first 2 seasons of Witcher. I didn't know I remember there being an animated show, but I never watched it, so
it was a movie, and it's
okay.
it's just like an hour and 30 minutes long. It's worth sitting down and watching. It was fun.
Fair enough. Honestly, though, when you said that, and it has no correlation whatsoever, but it made me think of the Castlevania animated Netflix show.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I want to watch that again, just randomly, like out of complete left field. But like, I loved that series. That was so good.
Man. Well, that's going to be, you're going to get me on a rant. So we're just going to we're going to back out of this one because I love Castlevania. That, so.
Same here. I'm excited for my limited run copy that's coming up sometime here in the next couple months.
Oh, did you get the Dominus collection?
I did.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. But all right, so let's kind of get back on track anyway. But cool. So that was my Witcher 2 or Witcher series was my second one. So what's your second pick? I think we're on your
Yeah,
second
so
pick.
for my next pick though is going to be the Persona franchise. So I am very interested in the style of Persona. It bleeds creativity and what's the word I'm looking for? It feels larger than life.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I see it, it feels larger than life. And that's what draws me into it. But the one thing that has constantly held me back from getting into Persona is I do not care about the life sim portion. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go work a part-time job. I don't want to do any of that. It's the
Fair enough.
same reason it's the same reason I cannot get into the Yakuza games. I don't want to go to the arcade. I just want to go and do my missions and be done.
Fair enough. And so Persona was also on my list. So
Yeah.
it's kind of funny we're both in that same regard. But I've probably played like the first 4 or 5 hours of Persona 5.
Mhm.
And like you said, it's very heavy on the life sim part. You know, in Persona 5, you're going to school, coming back before curfew, trying not to get in trouble.
Yep.
But I really like it. Like, I really like what I've seen. But again, it's just one of those games that's like, hey, if I'm going to play Persona, I'm going to have to block out the next 100+ hours because that's what I'm going to be putting into Persona 5 alone, not even talking about Golden or Reload or any of the others. So,
Yep. And
um,
that's the thing too, is from my understanding, as far as the egregiousness of the life sim goes, I've been told that Persona 5 Royal kind of dials that back a little bit. Like, not completely to take away from the experience, but apparently Persona 5 Royal is more friendly to people who are not as familiar with the Persona franchise. So, Persona 5 Royal, I've been told, is actually the way to go because apparently it's less egregious whenever it comes to the life sim stuff. Not so much so that it takes back the feeling and the immersiveness of it, but just apparently it's more friendly to people who aren't familiar with the Persona franchise. So maybe I just need to go get a copy of Royal and try it out.
okay.
But I definitely am interested in picking up three Reload, or is it
Yeah.
Reload or
It's
Reloaded?
Persona 3 Reloaded.
Okay, so no,
Or
Persona is definitely a franchise that I want to hop into at some point.
see, now I'm second guessing myself. It's Reload. Okay.
That is Reload.
Yeah, it's Reload. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. But no, that again, like I said, Persona was on my list. You know, a couple of people I work with talk super highly of the franchise. Former coworker from years ago, she actually was playing Persona 4 Golden on the Vita, and she was like, "This is the best way to play this game." So obviously, there's a following. That is one that I've wanted to dig into as well, and I did have that on my list. I did come up with a replacement for it though, so I did have a substitute, thankfully.
Man, Witcher's on my list though. So since you changed it, now I got to change it.
Yeah, I had to come up with a replacement. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw my replacement out there now, just in case you steal this one. But you actually kind of reminded me of it, so I'm kind of
Okay.
stealing the idea from you. Thank you, by the way.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
but this is another one that I actually own multiple copies of this, and I've always loved the idea of it, and again, I just haven't ever played it. And these are all on Game Pass now. I know they have a new one coming out. I actually, Limited Run just did another set of these as well. But another one I've always wanted to dig into was the Yakuza franchise.
You can steal that one from me and keep it, man, because I don't know what it is about Yakuza. I don't have any interest. Honestly, I have more interest in it now that it's become Like a Dragon
Yes.
than I had before whenever it was Yakuza. Like a Dragon looks so absurd and it's turn-based combat, and so that kind of pulls me into it a little bit more. And then not only that though, we have Yakuza, or not Yakuza, Like a Dragon Pirate coming out in February. And that really caught my attention because one, I just like pirates. If you put pirate video games, there's too many bad ones out there. I'm looking at Skull and Bones whenever I say that.
Wow. All right.
We need pirate video games, and we need good pirate video games.
Did you ever play Sea of Thieves?
I have messed around in it. I enjoy it. I mean, it's
It's
not the best thing in my opinion, but it's fun.
it's a lot better now. I'll say that, but
That's what I've heard.
that's a great pirate game. I really enjoyed it. That's really good with friends, like if you have a group of people playing. But no, back to Yakuza. Like I'm with you. I played a little bit of Like a Dragon. I liked it, but I like the you know my style of like games. I like the weird, off the wall stuff.
Mhm.
I like the big triple A's and stuff like that. But I really like finding those weird, you know, one-off games that maybe only a handful of people have played and finding those hidden gems. And I feel like even though Yakuza is not really a hidden gem, obviously they're a big franchise. They've been doing it for years. I like how off the wall and just different those games are. So that's one that is one that's going on my list since you technically did steal my Persona call out.
Yeah.
But all right, so that I'm gonna make that my number 3 on my list. So what's number 3 on your list?
Well, so since you stole, since I stole your Persona, and you stole my Witcher, I'm going to steal something else from you again.
All right.
But it's all and that's basically doing what you just did by going back to an earlier reference and pulling it in to replace Persona. So Witcher was on my list. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to grab the Elder Scrolls, and let's go ahead and drag the Elder Scrolls into this, but not just specifically Skyrim, but Oblivion, Morrowind. Uh, I'm not going to touch Daggerfall.
That'd
Just
be fair.
that's just not going to happen. I can promise you that right now. And I don't even know anything about the first Elder Scrolls at all. So
Arena.
Arena, is that what it is? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, all great games I've heard, but I wouldn't know.
So have you never played? So you've never played an Elder Scrolls game?
Nope.
Okay.
So apparently, there's been heavy rumors going around that in January we're going to be getting an Xbox showcase. And in that showcase, we're supposed to be seeing a remake for Oblivion, allegedly.
I saw rumors on that too.
So, yeah, so maybe that'll be time for me to finally hop into it, check it out. I mean, I have Skyrim, so I could hop in and check out Skyrim at any time I wanted to. I think I have it installed also. I just haven't touched it.
And that's the thing. Like I'm a big fan of the Elder Scrolls games. Like I have put a lot of time into those. Ironically, I say ironically, it's like my favorite one has always been Morrowind. Like
See, I hear that a lot, actually.
Morrowind was the one that it was just like it was true, just freedom with it. Like you could just do what you want. You could kind of abuse some of the game mechanics to really just let you take full control of your character and do what you want. Like I thoroughly enjoyed Morrowind. I like the way they created the world. I just had a ton of fun with it. Oblivion's a great game. Like it is a incredible Elder Scrolls experience. So is Skyrim. I think they're dated games at this point, man. I mean, we've got games like Fallout and Witcher and Baldur's Gate and stuff like that, and it's like the whole engine I think needs a good overhaul in my opinion. Like they need to step their game up if they're going to compete, with the games like hell, even Starfield. If we're going to do
help.
What's up?
Or go ahead.
I was going to say if they're even Starfield it's a good game now. Like when it came out it was a bit rough and I'm still disappointed with Starfield, but I think it's in a good position now. But that whole engine, they really need to update it, and let's see the true potential of what the next Elder Scrolls or the next Bethesda game could really be. So
Well, and the other thing that hinders a lot of that nowadays too, though, is it's getting longer and longer for development times on these massive projects.
mm-hmm.
So I mean, what Skyrim came out? It's a 12-year-old game now, I think.
What was that the
12 or
nine?
13.
Was that the 9 No, was it the 11/11 2011 when that came out?
Yeah, so it'd be 13 years old now.
Yep.
So that's been a while.
Yeah.
you know. So I mean, we're going to get GTA 6 before we're going to get Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, maybe.
yeah.
I mean, I think that's fair, but I am excited. I was excited when they announced the Elder Scrolls 6, but I think we're kind of in that conversation again of when is too soon? When is announcing too soon? When are you
Right.
announcing it too soon? There we go.
Yeah, I know, especially since they announced Elder Scrolls 6 was in the earliest stages of development, like, what, 2 years ago?
I mean, hell, was it only 2 years? It feels like it's been like 4 or 5 since they announced Elder Scrolls.
I mean, it may have been, man.
But like that's
So,
what I'm getting. It's we're kind of at that mind. We always make the joke during the video game awards. It's like, hey, check out this new game in 2072, and it's like,
yep.
good lord, man, come on. Like, you either just. I know Todd Howard was getting sick of people just, hey, Elder Scrolls 6, when's the new Elder Scrolls game coming out? And that's why he did it. Hey, we're making one.
Yeah.
Stop harassing me about it. But like,
Man,
it's
I have a feeling though that also because it's Todd Howard that every time somebody's like, "Hey, where's Elder Scrolls 6?" he's like, "All right, that's another year."
We're up to 2087 now. Keep
Yeah,
it up. Keep it up. All right. Well, Elder Scrolls again. I know that's still a surprising one to me, but if we got that Oblivion remake, that anniversary remake, because I mean they did an anniversary one. When what was it? Oblivion was 5-year anniversary. Because they did an anniversary for Oblivion.
Yeah, they did. I don't know how long it had been out though.
I think it
But
was
yeah,
a
no, 'cause
5-year. Because they had that gray steelbook case. Like I remember when it came out. But so if they did announce a true I guess HD remaster or whatever they're gonna do with it, is that something you would actually be willing to check out?
Yeah, no, I'd be willing to check it out.
Okay. All right. Well, so Elder Scrolls, that's gonna be the third one on your list. Let me go into the fourth one on mine. So I got 2 left. This is one that I'm just gonna save my big one for the end, but this is one you've been hounding about for years. You already know what it is. You already know what it is. You've been hounding me about this for years. I've got other buddies who have been telling me I need to play it. This is one I did start it like a month or 2 ago, but just time again. I don't have the time to sit down and play, and then other stuff came out too, so I'm at fault for that. But the Ghost series, Ghost of Tsushima, that's one that I've always wanted to dig into. I've heard nothing but incredible things about this franchise, or this game, I should say. And
soon to be franchise.
Soon to be franchise. But like, that's one I need to dig into. Obviously, Sony did something right. They crushed it with this one. Obviously, we have Ghost of, was it Yotai? Yote?
I've been saying Yotai.
Okay. But we have the new one coming out, so there's obviously a reason. I know they're different ghosts, they're different protagonists and stuff like that, so I don't think the stories are going to directly correlate, but it'd still be nice to play the first one before the next one comes out. So.
Oh yeah, no, they take place hundreds of years apart from each other. So.
Okay. So yeah,
you won't need to play Tsushima to play Yotai unless they do some like legacy content or something like that. So.
Wouldn't surprise me, but no, and I know you've talked super highly this. I think you platinumed it, if I remember correctly, but
I sure did. At one point, I owned 3 copies of the game.
Why?
Because work kept giving me free copies for some reason.
Fair enough.
And then I bought it, and then I bought the director's cut, and then I got a free copy, and then got a free copy of the director's cut.
Yep.
So.
I think I bought the game when it came out, and then they gave me a director's cut code. So yeah, I get it. But
yeah, no, that was my game of the year for 2020, man. And like to give you an idea, that's the same year that we got Last of Us Part 2. That's the same year that we got Crash Bandicoot 4. That is the same year that we got Doom Eternal. That is the same year we got Animal Crossing New Horizons. We got a lot of heavy hitters that year, but Ghost of Tsushima. Remake? What's that?
Final Fantasy Remake came out that year.
Yeah. But a lot of heavy hitters came out that year.
Yep.
But Ghost of Tsushima was the one that stood head and shoulders over everything else to me. And Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch has never been a bad developer. All right, because they did Sly Cooper. Mm-hmm. And you and I both love that franchise to death. Infamous 1 and 2 are amazing. Second Son is okay. but Ghost of Tsushima, they just woke up and they were like, it's time that we hit our stride. And man, did they hit their stride.
See, to me, that's kind of the same thing Naughty Dog did with Uncharted. Like,
Yeah.
I know, like, I'm a bigger Uncharted fan here for sure, but like, the first three were great. The fourth one, I loved them all. Like, to me, there are better and worse games, but they're all great games in my opinion. And then when Last of Us came out, it's basically they just took that entire formula and perfected it and threw an incredible story on it and just kept running with it. So I'm kind of hoping Sucker Punch does the same thing with the Ghost franchise too. So
yeah, not fair enough.
So cool. What's the so we're on 4 for you. What's your fourth title or fourth franchise?
Man, so this is going to be one I know that you're going to wholeheartedly support.
Okay.
But it's one that I'm not going to be able to play anytime soon until I buy a copy of a game from this franchise, and that is Dragon Quest. So I have always wanted to play Dragon Quest, and I love old school Final Fantasy. Dragon Quest looks exactly up my alley. Why I have never touched it, I could not tell you, because it looks like something I would love to death.
Oh yeah.
But I have never touched one.
See, I wholeheartedly agree. This is a franchise I think you would love. I have not picked it up yet, but I want to pick up the. Oh no, I did.
The 3 HD.
I think I did buy a copy. Maybe I could have swore I bought a copy of that. I'd have to double check. But the 3 remaster. Mm-hmm. But and I've messed with, like, I played Dragon Quest 8 on the PlayStation 2 and stuff like that, and I messed with I think it was 10 on the. Was it 10 or 11? No, I don't remember. I played The Elusive Age, whichever one that one is.
I think that's 11.
11, okay. But hands down, my favorite, and it seems to be kind of like shunned in the Dragon Quest community, because it's a Dragon Quest game, but it's not like a mainline Dragon Quest game. And it was Dragon Quest 9. I loved that game. It was on the 3DS, or I think it was the DSi when it came out, actually, but it was on the DS, and my wife and I, we had a group of people playing that game because it was a handheld multiplayer game. Like, I could jump in your world and play the game with you, or you could jump in mine. And when they were doing like the treasure map system, where you would do these randomized dungeons, and they would either be 3 levels deep or 20 levels deep, and the further they went, the better the loot. And man, we had so much fun with that game. But yeah, that's another franchise. Like, I'm kind of surprised you've never at least just dipped your toes in on one of them, man. Like, those are great games. But yeah, I do want to, I want to play that 3 remaster. That's the one I really want to dig into next.
Yeah, I want to pick up a copy of that. And then, next year we're getting the combo pack of 1 and 2 HD. So I guess it's time, man. I guess it's time for me to hop into it.
And it's not on my list. I've actually played these games before, but another one I would strongly encourage you to look into, if you've never messed with them, the Lunar remakes that are coming out next year too.
Oh yeah, no, we talked about it a little bit. So,
okay.
Yeah, I haven't touched them, so.
Those are phenomenal games, man. Those are great games too, so.
Okay.
Man, we're gonna have to. Do you still have a DS?
Somewhere, but yeah.
we're gonna have to find you a copy of Dragon Quest 9. We're gonna have to run some of that. That'd be fun. I'd be down to play that.
Even though they killed the online capabilities on the DS.
I think it's not like servers.
Can you do remote play?
I think it's like local play. So maybe. Okay. I mean, because my wife and I were talking about playing the other day, and it's not like on their servers, so you should be able to still do the multiplayer.
Okay.
But all right, so my last one that I'm gonna throw out here is we've talked about it already on the podcast a little bit, but this is one that I even mentioned in the last episode. I think it was one of the last 2 episodes that I really wanted to dig into this franchise. And the creator of this, everybody knows him. He's made some of the biggest franchises in the world when it comes to, they're just putting his name on things. Even putting out a little teaser demo kind of changed out the world when it came to just little playable teasers. But when you say Kojima, like, the type of pedigree you're getting. Like
Yep.
hands down, you know the type of world you're gonna get. There's every little bit of lore in that game is gonna have immense depth.
Yep.
And when it comes to those, I have played the Metal Gear franchise. I've done all those. I would love to see, Silent Hills, I guess, but PT.
Oh, you better keep wishing on that one.
I know. Well, I mean, we do have OD coming out.
Yeah, that's true. So,
So
the closest thing we'll ever get to it.
yeah,
So.
and I mean, during the announcement there, it showed the door from PT or something in a close homage to it. So hopefully, but again, we don't know anything on that. But the franchise I want to dig into is going to be Death Stranding. Like
Yep.
there's no secret there. I love Kojima does incredible work. Like the bar is set when it comes to his work. This is just one of those weird off the wall games that just looks like it would hold my attention. And I know, again, it's one of those that it's going to be 100 hours plus. It's going to be one of those that I'm going to have to invest plenty of time into. I'm going to have to, I know there's pretty lengthy cutscenes in that game. At some point you're going to have to just make some popcorn and sit back and enjoy kind of thing.
Man, so at least you can pause the cutscenes in Death Stranding, though, because in Metal Gear Solid 4, you could not, and it has one of the longest cutscenes in the entire franchise and in gaming history. And I had to go to the bathroom whenever I was playing it, and so I was like, I'm going to risk it, and I hit the pause button and I skipped the cutscene.
Oh, that sucks.
Dude, I was pissed.
Yeah, that's
rough.
rough.
So bad.
I do remember those ridiculously long cutscenes when it came to Metal Gear Solid 4, though.
Yep.
So did you play Death Stranding? Was that one you actually dug into?
So I put a good maybe 10 hours into Death Stranding, but I don't know anything about it other than, what's given to you in trailers and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's definitely one that I've been wanting to go back to, especially since we do have a director's cut now.
Mm-hmm.
And I own it. I was actually thinking about it today, about hopping back into it because Death Stranding 2 is on the way.
Yep.
So, and anything Kojima touches, I tend to just absolutely love. So I don't know why I haven't done it already.
Nope. And that's kind of the other reason I really want to dig into it too, is obviously the sequel's coming out. I don't know. I love the world. I'm not big into the voice actor side of things. I respect what they do. Obviously it's a ton of work and I have certain favorites, but a lot of the people in this cast I'm very interested in. So I don't know. I'm really excited, especially part 2, but it's I got to dig into the first one, and it looks really cool. And ironically, I own Ghost of Tsushima on PC or on PS5. I own Death Stranding on PS5. But I know they just released both of those. I say just, they've been out a little bit, but they're both on PC. And I really want to try those out on PC, honestly, just to see. But I want my PlayStation trophies because I'm a noob like that. I'm a fake gamer like that. I want my trophies. I need my achievements.
Yeah. And then not only that, though, Death Stranding is fixing to come to Xbox.
Oh, actually, it's already out on Xbox.
Is it out on Xbox now? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so. I remember they kind of shadow dropped that, and people are like, you can play this on Xbox now, so.
Yeah, I feel like that ship has kind of sailed, but, especially with the second one coming out, who knows? Maybe there will be renewed interest in the first one.
Maybe.
So who knows? But I don't know, just the Xbox community does not seem like a Death Stranding community, if that makes sense. I mean, honestly, the PlayStation community doesn't even seem like a Death Stranding community. Death Stranding to me is meant for PC.
I mean, fair. I think my thing is and this is kind of sidestepping and kind of going off track, but we've talked about. I'm a big Xbox guy. I love my Xbox. I love the console and stuff like that. But this generation, I've been more into my PlayStation. And the reason being is, even though I like the hardware on the Xbox, and in all fairness and on paper, the Xbox is a better piece of hardware, there's just no content for it. There's no solid, great, there's great games on it, for sure. But when you've got contenders like Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, Last of Us, God of War, Horizon, we've got all these franchises, and it's what's on the Xbox? Oh, well, Gears of War is whenever E-Day comes out. We got Forza. Well, I mean, Motorsport was the last one. What's the next one? We haven't heard anything. Is there a new Halo? No. Is that, there's no there's no big titles to bring me to my Xbox. The only thing I can think of is Fable, which we still don't know anything on.
Yep. And that's the thing though too is, and I called this happening years ago now. And I remember you and I were sitting down eating lunch one day, and I was like, one day Halo will be on PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
And now we are getting to that point in time. But honestly though, it is a business model Xbox should have done a long time ago.
I mean, I get where you're coming from, and I agree to a certain degree. I don't care for this, Xbox as a service, Xbox Live as a service. And I mean, that may just be the nostalgia from me, like kind of coming back where, again, I like my physical games. I like owning a console. I like the what I've been doing for the many years I've been playing video games. I don't want to log into a streaming service and play games. This isn't, what were those streaming services like Luna and what was the other one?
Luna, Stadia.
Like I don't like none of those interest me. Like I want to own my games. I want to own my platform. I don't want to borrow or pay for rights to play for it, for a month and then have to pay for it again. So I'm not a big fan of this Xbox service thing they're trying to work on.
I mean, so long as they keep publishing physical copies of their games, because, Indiana Jones did. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point Avowed will, even though there is technically physical copies, quote unquote. It's just a code in a case. But I wouldn't be surprised if they continued, especially with their larger titles, such as Halo and Gears of War, just because that would just reach a larger audience in general.
Agreed. And I don't know if you saw the article too, and we'll get back to topic here in a second, but I know CES is about to come up too. And there were rumors that Microsoft is going to be teasing or revealing new hardware or new hardware specs coming up.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how true that is. Like I said, that could be complete rumor or BS, but if that's true, that'd be interesting because I know the Series X is really tough to find right now through retailers, and I know they just revealed the Series X digital, all digital one, the 1 terabyte Series S, the Galaxy version. But with this Xbox as a service thing, we might see Xbox
collapse.
Well, we might see Xbox just on a broader spectrum. We might see it more available on Samsung TVs like they've been advertising and stuff like that. So who knows? We might see a little bit. But I thought that was interesting. So
I was going to say the collapse of the disk drive.
I mean, we've already talked about that. As much as I hate it, I genuinely think next gen we're going to see digital only consoles, or maybe an option for a physical drive, kind of like what PlayStation's doing now. But I agree, I don't want that to happen. But that's a conversation for the future. Hell, we might be able to do like a CES episode or something like that and talk about some of the new hardware and stuff coming out. That'd be interesting. Yeah. But all right, so I don't know how we went from Death Stranding to CES, but what's gonna be your fifth and final franchise that you've always wanted to dig into?
So this one is going to be the one that you will agree with the most in my entire list.
All right.
I already know it. It is a franchise that we have talked about numerous times. It is also not technically a franchise, but it is at the same time.
Okay.
And that is the Soulsborne games.
Oh, okay.
Specifically the FromSoft Soulsborne games. So not Souls-like, Soulsborne.
Official Souls games. FromSoft games.
Official Souls games. Yep, exactly. So that, I mean, Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Sekiro, Bloodborne, Elden Ring. And I guess Armored Core now too. So
yes, yeah. So are you just going from FromSoft games, or are you specifically going Souls titles?
Specifically Souls titles. Okay. The only reason I threw Armored Core in there is because I heard that the new Armored Core has a lot of Souls-like elements.
Yeah, it's got a Souls-like combat system to it, which is it's interesting. I did buy that too, so I do want to check that out. But I haven't played the new one yet. So we've talked a little bit on this, but so I know you're a huge fan of Bloodborne.
Yeah.
So I know you haven't played much of Bloodborne.
Yep.
Have you played any of them?
So I think the one that I have the most time in is probably Elden Ring.
Okay.
So, but I didn't even finish Elden Ring though.
Okay.
So, the second place would probably be Demon Souls.
Okay. So I mean, those are games that my wife and I have played like religiously. I mean, if you
Yep.
watched our last episode and or not a couple episodes when we did our 2024, you saw Elden Ring was pretty much my entire year.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I've definitely put my time in there. But yes, that is one definitely worth checking out for sure, man. I own them all.
Yep.
So if you ever want to dig into them and kind of mess with some Demon Souls or Dark Souls remaster or something, I'm sure we could find a group to play. I promise you, we could definitely get
Oh
some.
man,
We can
that would be some interesting content. Let me
we
tell you.
we could do it. We could definitely do it. So anything else you want to dig into on that or?
No, not really. Just other than the fact that honestly, I'm surprised I haven't gotten into the Souls games already. Just because they have giant boss battles, and that is something I am a huge fan of in
Oh
video
yeah.
games. You've heard me speak about God of War all the time. They have massive boss battles. I talked a little bit about it, I believe, during our live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Asura's Wrath.
Yep.
Yep, larger than life boss battles. I love my larger than life boss battles in video games, and the Souls franchise definitely delivers on that front. So I don't know why I haven't gotten there already.
Yeah, no, those are definitely those larger than life battles for me.
Yep.
We like the challenge and the exploration when it comes to it, but man,
Hmm.
we've had so much fun playing those games. I have a story from I think it was Dark Souls 2. It may have been Dark Souls 1. I don't remember, but there's a piece of armor you can pick up late in the game, and it basically once you equip it, it changes your head to a dragon head,
Oh,
and
I know
it
what you're talking about.
and you can just breathe fire. Like the
Yeah.
main attack is you breathe fire just out of the head. And we were sitting at the door to the final boss.
Hmm.
And we were just it was me and two of my buddies, and we all had the same piece of armor, so we were all sitting there with the dragon head. And in the original games, when you called an invader, they came in at the same exact spot every single time. So we knew where the invaders were going to come in from. And we just sat around that spot in a circle, and we would keep using this item that resets the invasion timer.
Yeah.
So instead of having to wait, 10 to 15 minutes for an invader, it would just pop one in instantly. And we would
Yeah.
just sit there waiting. And the moment he would come in, all three of us would just be blowing fire right at him spawning. And you'd see people like freaking out, like rolling, trying to run away, and they'd run off the edge and kill themselves. Like, we had so much fun with that game, man.
Man, I don't know why. Just every time somebody showed up and y'all all just started attacking, I just imagined just all of y'all just screaming, "Trial by fire! Trial by fire!"
It was probably more of a Trogdor reference.
More of a Trogdor
Yep.
reference.
All right. Well, if that's where if so that's those are our five franchises for both of us right there. So I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but so out of those five franchises, I'd like to throw a little bit of a challenge to you, and I'm going to partake in this as well. But I would like for both of us to dig into one of these franchises.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna let you choose. I'm gonna give you the option. Do you want to pick the franchise for you, or do you want to pick the franchise for me and I'll pick the franchise for you?
Oh, let's do that. I like that
You want to
idea.
do that?
Yeah, let's
And
do
then
that.
so we're gonna pick each other one franchise that they need to dig into. What kind of
Hmm.
time frame do we want to dig? What kind of time frame do we want to give to dig into these games?
That's a good question.
You want to say
Well,
like
how in depth are we going to go into the like into a series, or are we just going to pick a game from the series and run with it?
yeah, I mean, we could pick a game from the franchise, like go that route, or we can set up to where, I would say at least start it up and get a little bit of time in before end of January, since the new year's about to be here. That gives us 30 days.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, that's fine with me.
okay, so I'll let you pick first, man. So you're going to pick the franchise I need to dig into at least sometime in the next 30 days. I have a feeling I already know what it's going to be.
You know what? Just because I knew you were going to say that, I'm not picking Ghost of Tsushima. So,
All right. So let me throw this out there. So
all right.
my franchises were Baldur's Gate,
Yep.
the Witcher series,
Mm-hmm.
Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, and now the Yakuza series because you stole my Witcher, or not Witcher, Persona.
So specifically, whenever you say Yakuza, though, are you speaking like Yakuza as a whole, or just specifically like a dragon?
I'm honestly saying as a whole because
Okay.
I've installed the Kiwami franchise or the Kiwami games
Yes.
on Game Pass multiple times on my PC, and it's just one of those like I'll play it later and I just end up uninstalling it later. So I will include
Okay.
the original franchise there too. But if you want me to start with like a dragon or something like that, like I would.
Then,
So
then specify it. Okay.
yeah.
You know what? I think just because it's going to be a relevant conversation here soon again, I think I'm going to choose Death Stranding for you.
Okay. I'm not gonna
So,
lie. Out of all the games, that's the one I was really hoping you would pick, and I didn't think you would.
hey,
So
I did though.
I'm really
So
excited about that. So,
no, I should have just been like, nope, you get Persona 5 and you have to platinum it in 30 days.
geez, I'm not gonna platinum that in 30 days. I'm gonna have to quit my job at that point. So, all right. So, Death Stranding will be the one that I need to play. And I will actually start digging into that. I'm actually excited for that. I like the Death Stranding franchise, or I like what I've seen of it, so I'm excited to play
Yeah.
that.
I have the strongest feeling that I know what you're fixing to pick for me.
So let's go back. Let's go back through. Go ahead and read your 5 again. So go ahead and let's go ahead and do that. So
Got Mass Effect, Persona, Elder Scrolls, Dragon Quest, and then just the Soulsborne.
okay. Well, the easy one obviously is to just be like,
Yeah.
all right, so you need to play Bloodborne, so
Yeah.
stuff like that. I'll give you a caveat.
Okay.
I'll give you a caveat. I'm gonna cheat a little bit, I guess.
Okay.
So the first one I will pick, I will say I would like to see you play some Demon Souls.
Oh, okay.
I will say this, that is one I would play with you though.
Okay.
Like if you want to run Demon Souls together, like we can do that. I'm totally down for that.
Okay. Is it on the Plus catalog though? Because I do not own a copy of it anymore.
It was.
Yeah, I know it was. I don't know if it still is though. Here, let me pull up my PlayStation app real quick.
Yeah.
And just look real quick. Demon Souls. Yes, it is.
Okay, so that would be one. If we do that, I would like to play that.
Okay.
I'll run that with you. I love Demon Souls. Demon Souls is actually one of my favorite of the Souls franchises. So just because it's very difficult, but it's very simplistic in nature. You know, it's not a huge map like Elden Ring. You know, there's not all these different things. Like it's very just simplistic and raw in nature.
See, and I feel like that's why Demon Souls has called to me more than all of the other games in the Soulsborne lineup because of that reason, and because I'm a novice to that franchise as a whole. So
Fair enough.
yeah.
But like I said, I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I'm gonna pick 2 here. But
Okay.
if there's one you're gonna play, I want you to play by yourself, kind of thing. Like if you're gonna run one solo, I would really like for you to start up the Mass Effect series.
Which one specifically from the beginning?
I would start the first one because the
Okay.
thing with Mass Effect, man, is the decisions you make in Mass Effect 1 carry all the way to the 3rd game.
Oh, I forgot that they did that. I remember that
so
now. Okay.
the decisions are still very relevant in 1, but the nice thing is I say the nice thing, like the first one was very role playing, the second and the third one became more action RPG shooter. So you kind of get to see the evolution of the game. And if I remember correctly, that Mass Effect Collection, the Legendary Edition, is the game with all the DLC. So
Yes, it is.
So I mean, you'll have
So.
access to everything. And if you want to platinum that, you go to town, man, because there is There's a
Oh,
ton of content
hell
on that.
no. I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna play that on Xbox. Like you ain't catching me trying to trophy hunt that. No, 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 no.
So I kind of cheated a little bit, but which would you rather do? Would you rather run Mass Effect or would you rather run some Demon Souls?
Man, so that's the thing is, I'm tempted on Demon Souls, but at the same time though, if we run Demon Souls together, that takes away from your time in Death Stranding. So,
Plus, we also we need to play Borderlands.
oh yeah, we do need to play Borderlands. So,
Which
especially
apparently
since
I forgot I got a code on PlayStation for free, so I own Borderlands on PlayStation and PC.
oh, there you go. So, Mass Effect or Demon Souls? You know what? I'm going to choose.
Drum roll.
I'm going to choose Demon Souls, but I will say this though: you don't feel obligated that you have to play with me because I know that you're a busy man, and then you also got to play your Death Stranding though within the next 30 days.
So it's funny that you mentioned that because I was actually looking at Death Stranding on Steam because as of right now it's the winter sale, and Death Stranding Director's Cut's only $20 on PC.
Oh, there you go.
And like I said, I already own it on my PlayStation, but like I really want to play it on my PC. I kind of want to see what my PC can do. And I know that's not a super demanding game, but I really want to see what my PC can handle. Plus I got the new monitor and all that, so I really want to kind of run with it. So I might get it on PC and try it, but I really want my PlayStation trophies too. So I don't know, might go back and forth.
Yeah.
I know Ghost of Tsushima has the PlayStation app now, so you can get your PlayStation trophies on the PC. But we'll see. We're waiting. Hopefully that'll pan out. But all right, so now we have reached out a challenge for both of us.
Yep.
So at least in the first 30 days or the next 30 days, we need to start up for me Death Stranding, for you Demon Souls, and we will recap this. We will have a recap episode and we'll talk about, even if it's just like a little, quick opening talk kind of thing, like a little side note. We'll recap into this. So, but what else? What do you got, man? I know we're rounding an hour right now. So, what else? What do you have before we wrap this up?
Only thing I can say is thank y'all for watching. I appreciate it. And make sure you like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And then also, if you want to see us talk about anything, put it in the comments. We haven't had a comment yet on a video, so and I know there's some opinionated people out there. So go ahead, drop in the comments something that you would like to see us do. Tell us you love us, tell us you hate us. Let's get a little bit of a repertoire going between us.
There we go. I like it. But yeah, no, kind of like he was saying, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Blue Sky, we're on YouTube, obviously. Give us some feedback. The way we're going to get better is by hearing what you guys think. So if you get a second, say some nice things, say some mean things, whatever you want to do. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But for the podcast, for the Freakin Uncultured Podcast, again, my name's Andy. This is my buddy Chandler. We appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us. And again, stay uncultured, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.